Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this exciting webinar, Sales on the Move, Embracing Agility for a Changing Sales Journey. My name is Courtney Phillips, Marketing Coordinator of Revegy, and I'm thrilled to have you here. I can promise you that in the next 30 minutes will be filled with valuable insights and strategies to boost your sales performance. Before we get started, I want to encourage you to actively engage throughout the webinar. Feel free to use the chat box to introduce yourselves, share your thoughts, and connect with fellow attendees. We also have a dedicated Q&A box, so please ask your questions at any time during the presentation. We'll reserve some time at the end to address those questions and ensure that you leave here with all the information you need. Speaking of connections, we also have a couple of sales representatives joining us in the chat. Devin Murray and Russell Horton are here from Revegy, and they're more than excited to say hello and answer any questions you might have. So don't hesitate to reach out to them directly in the chat or connect with them one-on-one if you'd like to learn more about the Revegy platform. Now, I want to take a moment to highlight something special. Our webinar today is powered by Six Connects, an amazing platform for events just like this one. If you find this platform engaging and would like to explore it further, Six Connects has an exclusive offer for you. By booking some time with them, you can get a fantastic 10% off your next event. So make sure you take advantage of this opportunity and check out the link on our event page. Without further ado, it's my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Luiz Martins, Chief Marketing Officer of Revegy. Luiz has a wealth of knowledge on sales and marketing, and he's here to guide us through the key elements of navigating the changing sales journey. Luiz, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Courtney, for this. Hi, everyone. I'm Luiz Martins. As Courtney just mentioned, I am the CMO here at Revegy. We are thrilled to welcome you to our webinar, Embracing Agility for a Changing Sales Journey. Everybody keeps moving our cheese. When we think we have it figured out, somebody comes and changes it, right? So we have seen a lot of change over the last 3 to 4 years, and a lot of it still as a direct result of the pandemic. Most of us are still trying to figure it out how to navigate it. That's probably why we had almost 1,500 people registering for this webinar. Let me tell you, you've come to the right place. Not because I'm here, but because I have two esteemed guests with us today that will share their insights, expertise, and help us understand these changes. So let me welcome our first guest, Doug Inda. Doug serves as the Senior Vice President of Enterprise Client Development at Syndigo, bringing to this webinar an impressive track record of more than 20 years as a global technology sales executive. Throughout his career, Doug has held key sales roles in prominent organizations like Syndigo and Danaher, always with the responsibility for complex sales and managing sales teams. I've had a chance to personally work with him and experience his leadership style that is distinguished by the ability to recognize and celebrate outstanding achievements, a nurturing and coaching environment, and having the utmost respect for customers. Doug, I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here with you, sharing the stage, and doing something with you again, man. Good to see you.
Absolutely. It's been far too long. Thanks for having me, Luiz. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We also have with us today Donald C. Kelly. Donald is the founder of the Sales Evangelist and Chief Sales Evangelist training teams across the globe through cohort-led programs, helping sellers grow their sales pipeline 3 to 5 times and double their close rates. His expertise is encapsulated in his book, Sell It Like a Mango, a new seller's guide to closing more deals. Donald also shares his expertise as a keynote speaker on webinars like this one, and is well known by his acclaimed sales podcast, The Sales Evangelist, which is part of the HubSpot network and boasts over 3.7 million downloads, reaching audiences in over 155 countries. So when Donald speaks, people listen. Donald, we're thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much.
Luiz, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and excited to learn from you and partner with you as well, Doug, here.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So we're talking about a changing sales journey. And to really understand what makes a sales journey change, we kind of have to go deep into a few topics. We actually had quite a few topics, and we picked 4 that we thought were extremely relevant for us to understand what has happened to the buyer's journey as they come to us as sellers. And we're going to be discussing this. I have to tell you, I am the CMO for Revegy, so I'm going to be shamelessly plugging Revegy here and there. So I hope you expect that from the start, right? So 4 of the topics we're talking today. The first one is tighter budgets. We're seeing companies come to us and just have a lot more scrutiny on their buying process. We're going to be discussing that. The second topic we picked is just the expansion of sales and marketing technology. There's an organization called Chief Martech. And in 2011, they counted how many vendors there were for marketing technology. In 2011, there were 150 of these vendors that offered technologies such as Revegy. Now, if we look in 2023, the same organization did this study and came up with 11,000 vendors for technology. So a 7,000% growth over 12 years. So we're going to be talking about what it is that we need to do to have these tools working for us, as opposed to sometimes we feel like we work for those tools, right? The third topic we picked is just the abundant data available to buyers. When we're talking to prospects, sometimes they come to us and they kind of have everything figured out. They know what we do. They've done their research. They know what competitors do. And they just have like 3 questions for us. So it's really hard to reset that and get started from the beginning so that we can have some control over that process. We're going to be talking about that. And finally, I talked to you from Sao Paulo, Brazil. The world has gone remote, right? In the past, just salespeople were remote. Now everybody's remote. When I started in sales a few years back, just a few, there was a certain stage in the sales process that we would say, hey, let's all go meet at your headquarters. Bring your stakeholders. I'll bring my stakeholders. We'll have this conference and then kind of move on and figure out what the best way to finalize this deal is. This doesn't happen anymore. So, and that has a significant impact on the sales journey we're talking about. So in order for us to get started, the first thing we're doing, and we love to hear from you on Q&A questions, but also on the polling questions. So the first one we're going to put out there is, which of the following trends do you find most impactful on the changing sales journey? And we have listed the 4 that I just brought up. While you do that, I'm going to get started. And the first topic is tighter budgets. And Doug, if you don't mind me starting with you, can you kind of walk us through, you've been doing this for so long, how can sales professionals adapt to these tighter budgets without sacrificing their sales performance?
Yeah, common theme, right? In particular, what we do, the organization I'm with, is a SaaS-based offering. So we're competing for operational expense, which I think a lot of people on this call probably know that's getting tighter and tighter. So when my team comes to me with that objection, the first question I have is, well, of course, whose budget are we discussing? I mean, who owns it? What is the individual or department that is participating in this budgetary exercise? Because my gut tells me either, one, we're too low in the account, or we don't have true executive sponsorship, which will tie to a corporate objective. If you do that, those budgets tend to be more readily available. And if I get that answered, I'm going to say something that may be counterintuitive, but if I hear a tighter budget, my instinct is actually to increase price and scope. And I'll tell you why. It's basically because I'll tell it through a story. I was working with PepsiCo years ago. We were trying to do a land and expand opportunity. We were working with Tropicana Gatorade in Chicago, finding ourselves in a $120,000 initiative. It wasn't progressing. We just weren't breaking through. And then looking at PepsiCo's corporate initiatives, recalls, compliance, food safety was a big issue at that time. We recognized that there was a CIO that was responsible for that particular part of the organization. By tying to that particular contact, it's a very different budget, a very different initiative. We were talking about something on a global scale that was 4 million of ACV. And imagine that budgetary process where we're now meeting tons of executives from all the different operating units globally of PepsiCo. And funny thing is, you could say, well, how do we do on that initiative? We lost it at the final stretch, but I'll tell you what, even by losing it, it didn't matter because we scaled the scope back and did North America only, which was minor 1.8 million, which we won. So I was sitting here fighting for 120,000 at Tropicana Gatorade by resetting the budget and the points of contact and getting executive sponsorship tied to a corporate initiative. We went from 120 to 1.8 million. It's, again, tight budgets, but working with those contacts puts you in a different category, different pond altogether of the type of funding that's available to you. Does that make sense?
That's perfect.
Sure
Wow,
does.
that makes a lot of sense, Doug. Any thoughts on this, Donald?
It's 100% right. I mean, time and time again, one of the terms that we use a lot, and we have been using a lot over the past 2 years, is over the past year, really, it's this concept of relevance. Like oftentimes when you look at companies who are looking at tighter budgets, yeah, nobody wants to spend as much, but if something is relevant to that individual or relevant to the corporate initiative, you find that you have more success. But the challenge that we're seeing is that, and we'll go into this a little bit later on, is just this idea of this onslaught by sales teams that we need to push everything out there, throw spaghettis at the wall and see what can stick. We hope somebody will buy something, but that becomes boring. It becomes a nuance, and you don't actually get the returns you're looking for. Order taking days are long gone. And I think we saw that since the pandemic. And order taking sales reps can't do what Doug just mentioned. Their job is just simply to throw out an email or to say we have this product and try to get something from it. But being able to be a consultant, to be intuitive enough that you look and understand and have your business acumen enough that you're able to go deeper, you find that budgets don't become an issue. It's been fascinating for us as an organization. Similar thing like Doug's talking about. We've seen this year has been our best year on books so far, and it's only been like halfway during the year. But again, it's the worst. It's a tight economy. It's worse than years before. But again, go back to this idea where if we change our focus and we go back to those things, how can we help the organization when it comes to the idea of relevancy, helping their sales team? And naturally, they're seeing results from it. So it just keeps going, just perpetuating. But I'm just amening everything Doug's saying. Just it's 100% on.
Thanks, Donald.
Perfect. And we had the polling going as you guys were speaking, and we got about 168 respondents. And the results are 40% voted as what's more impactful in the changing sales journey is just the sales and marketing technology expansion. That's very interesting and very timely because that's our next topic. Let's talk about that for a minute. And I also have a polling question for you guys. Sorry to make you all work. You thought you would come here and kind of do other stuff and multitask, and we're getting you to work. So the next question is about sales and marketing technology, right? There's a poll there, and we have 4 options for you, right? Which sales and marketing technology tools do you rely on the most? CRM systems, platforms like Revegy, which is sales optimization, AI tools, or are you not using any technology tools? I very much doubt that someone is going to pick D, but you're welcome to if that's the case. So let's talk about that, right? As I said, I've worked for quite a few companies, and the combination of bringing marketing and tools together to achieve certain objectives. CRM, when I started, we only had Salesforce. Back in 1999, when Salesforce started, we got that tool, and I thought, wow, this is great. It just changes everything because we had one source of data. And then as you start adding technology to this can become really complex, right? So Donald, if I may start with you, could you share some insights on how sales professionals can leverage technology to their advantage?
So here's 2 things. Well, I got several things, but I just got me excited as I'm looking over the notes here for this part. Tools don't work if you don't use the tools. Just repeat that one more time for people in the back. Tools will not work if you don't use the tools. And we see this as a like you mentioned, there's 11,000 more tools in the MarTech space. And you think about that in the sales arena as well, just collectively. It's fascinating how oftentimes, organization will say this tool doesn't work, or salespeople say it doesn't work and it's not effective for me. Well, it will not work unless you actually work that tool. And one of the problems that I find is that when you do, you find, a sales leader or a department head that feels that this tool is going to be great and they feel they want to implement it. But if the sales team doesn't have a buy-in, if the marketing team doesn't have a buy-in in that, we often see that that product will sit on a shelf and people will make all types of excuses. The other point to that too as well, so please don't get mad at me, Revegy, this is probably the last webinar you guys bring me on, is that oftentimes I feel right now is that we have too many tools in our tool belt as salespeople. And one of the things that I'm seeing is this renaissance of going back to basics. We see this a lot over the past like 6 months, where a lot of companies were like, let's go back to what has been working. And when you look at it, it's the blocking and tackling, go back to what Doug's saying, the business acumen. You don't necessarily need tools to be able to do that per se. It's just understanding the business and being able to do that and being able to articulate that. A lot of over the past, John Barrows, a good friend of mine in the sales world as well, and we're in a couple groups together. But John points out too is that we trained a lot of salespeople over the past, let's say, the past 20 years with the increase in tech, and probably say the last 10 years, especially the BDRs and the front running sellers, to be like little robots to just push a button. So no wonder we see when they have this onslaught of technology and technology trying to do a lot of work for them and they're automating a lot of things, when it comes to the point where they need to have business conversations in tough economic times, they have no clue how to do that because they've been just overrun by technology for such a long period of time and being able to just automate or just send things out. You need to make sure you have that understanding. So let me put this back together now. I started off by saying, yes, technology doesn't work unless you work, and we have too much technology. Here's what I would say. Focus on the tech that's going to help you the most. Focus on the tech that's going to help you the most. Focus on the tech that's going to help you the most. And once you focus on the tech that's going to help you the most, utilize that tech. The technology shouldn't be that it does your work for you. It should be that it enhances your ability to be a great sales professional. So one shout out there. There's a lot of people talking right now with digital sales rooms. I love digital sales rooms. They're absolutely amazing. We used one with one of our clients and closed one of our largest deals. But the concept here, go back to what Devin was saying in the chat, was Devin was saying, the idea of getting the client to map out the process with them, or map out the client's corporate initiative. 65% of the population are visual people. 65%. Go poll it. Go do the research. So if there's 65% of human beings are visual people, why in the world are we trying to sell to people the way that we feel is important rather than the way that they like to buy? Visually show them a mutual action plan in that digital sales room. Map out the process together with them. Communicate. I'm sorry for my Gen X, Gen Zs who don't like to communicate as much. You need to communicate. You need to have conversation. But once you can work with that client and you map it out together, it's so much more easier to close the deal because you're focused on things that matter to them and you're focusing on the way that they like to buy. I learned the platinum rule from one of my mentors. It says, treat others the way that they want to be treated rather than the way that you want to be treated. And that's the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. But Doug may like chocolate ice cream. I like vanilla. If Doug gives me chocolate ice cream, I will accept it, but I won't necessarily be crazy about it. But if you give me some organic, good, really creamy vanilla ice cream, I'll be Doug's friend forever. I'll make him fly my jet. No, I'm just kidding. But the point here is that I'm focusing on I don't have a jet yet. But the point here is that I'm focusing on the things that they want and helping them to buy the way that they want to buy. And the tech that can help me to do that and being a minimalist is going to help me to perform so much better. I wrapped on for a little bit there. Thoughts?
Now, Don, you're still invited because that's basically what Revegy works for. It helps you build account plans with your account. So yeah, you're still invited. You're still on the tent. Doug, any thoughts on this?
Oh man, I was thinking of what Donald was saying, and I carried a bag for years, and now I'm managing 45 people, and that's a very different experience to work in a commercial organization. So what I'm doing now is pushing adoption and selling the why of why these technologies are going to make our lives supposedly easier and cleaner to engage with the client. I think Donald's spot on. I'm with an organization where we did 14 acquisitions in 3 years. You can imagine what our Salesforce instance looks like. It's pretty challenging to say the least. And having new hires come in and try to navigate this platform to get utility out of it, it's been, let's just say, a challenge. But nonetheless, getting to the, just reverse engineering it. Like, what do we want to gain out of this, right? I want clean account plans so we know how to navigate these major accounts. Do we know the business issue, the corporate initiative we spoke about earlier? Do we have clean org charts? Do we understand how to navigate these companies to maybe stitch together funding to get these projects sold? I need some technology to do it. To Donald's point, we're stripping down. We're doing exactly as he's describing. I'm ripping out platforms that have no utility to this team. Every decision we make is like, is it going to make the team more efficient to get paid for their commission? That's it. If I want, finance to pull reports to this and that, go fish somewhere else. Have another application, back office, program do that. I'm not going to load down the sales team with technology that doesn't solve the immediate goal, which is clean vision on how to win in these major accounts. That's it. If I do that, the technology will just start bleeding away or falling off the table over time.
Oh, that's great conversation, guys. And just looking at the results of the poll where we asked which technology do you most rely on, sort of going to your point, use the technology that works for you and then really use the technology that works for you. We had about 272 respondents, and CRMs is 39%, and then very close AI tools and platforms like Revegy with 26%. And I'm not using any technology tools, got close to 6%. AI is just something that we all have in our, horizon. It's coming. There's no way. And maybe we do another webinar on AI specifically for sales and see what's going on. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the chat if you guys think the next webinar should be about AI. So moving on to the next topic. When I started, also a few years back, we had the opportunity to really educate the prospects as we walk them through what it is that we did. Now I go into sales calls with our team, and the salespeople are like, "Oh, the buyers on the other side is I know what you guys do. I've looked it up. I just need you to answer 2 questions for me," and you kind of have to reset that because you just don't have a lot of insight on what is the preconceived notion that's coming here, right? So Doug, can you please share your thoughts on how us salespeople can cut through the noise and provide meaningful value to those prospects?
Yeah, when you showed me this topic, candidly, the first thing I felt was fear. I was scared because when I run into this a lot, clients will get access either through Forrester or Gartner or SIs that we partner with, right? I have no idea how they're interpreting that information. I have no idea how they're applying it to their decision criteria and how I'm being ranked before I even step into the engagement. It's totally blind to me. And they have this preconceived notion of where we rank in the market. That's not a good thing. So when we step into these things, I always upfront ask for patience with the prospect. I go, look, bear with me. I need to know the following. I need to understand how these things get approved in your organization. Tell me about your decision criteria. If you do that, I will help you build a business case because I'll know exactly how your organization values the platform, and therefore you're going to get funding. Because candidly, in the line of work we're doing, yes, we have competitors in the space, but my true competition is budget. Only so many initiatives get selected in that year. So by partnering with them, saying, okay, you have product information, great. Now let's figure out a way to weave it into a business case to ensure this gets funded and to ensure that you actually get this business challenge addressed. I can't help you if that's not going to be apparent to us, because we could share best practices, what we learned with all these other major accounts to get this actually off the ground and get it approved. You can't get that through demo vignettes or a product catalog. I have to walk you through what is a well-worn path for us to help you just actually get this across the line.
Excellent.
Makes
Donald,
sense?
any thoughts on this?
Yeah. So there's one of the things that I tend to look back at. I do it in 2 steps. 1, looking at it from the sales leader perspective, and then 2, looking at from the the individual perspective. I wanted to my thought went to the AI question because I was really excited about that thought. But anyways, the concept that I like to just go back to from the sales professional perspective is just always simply go back down to the value first idea. And the principle with that is like, what am I doing all in my favor as a sales professional to help that prospect to be able to see results? And I tie it back to this idea at the very top where we talk about relevance, and all that comes back down to that same line. But I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I know there's a couple of the points, but anyways.
Good. That makes a lot of sense. So finally, we got to our last topic here, which is just the whole dynamics of relationships have changed. Everybody is remote these days. Where are you, Doug?
Currently in Wisconsin, office out of Chicago.
Right. Where are you, Donald?
West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah, I'm in Sao Paulo, Brazil, as I said before, and we did a polling here on where people were coming from. Everybody's in a different location. And sometimes we don't think about it, but the whole dynamics of selling to people that are somewhere else in the world definitely impacts the sales journey. So I'll start with you, Donald. What strategies and tactics have you seen that really help sales professionals leverage to succeed in this remote environment?
Couple things. One is that you got to have more communication. We have our sales team. Some of our young BDRs are here with me in Florida, but the rest of our team scattered. One of the components that we've seen to be able to help is daily huddles. We just want to improve communication as much as possible. So we have daily huddles. The other component that we see that helps a lot is being able to obviously use like our Slack channels or whatnot, and we celebrate wins. We pull a culture together that we want to have that, you make it a place where sellers can come and ask questions. They could, hey, what worked for you this week? I saw that you landed this appointment. What did you do to do that? And then also celebrate, hey, I just booked the appointment, got this demo, closed this deal. We see that communication help. And then a third component that I found to be very, very interesting and helpful is peer pressure. And what I mean by that is our organization, one of our cohort programs is called the Sales Mastermind. And it's not a training program, but it's where experienced sales professionals come together, or even new reps come together. They get an opportunity to be able to connect. And over the course of a quarter, we have them set a specific target, a specific goal they're trying to accomplish. And then in that, we help them break that goal down. Now, what happens is that we're not teaching them anything new, but because we have the accountability in place, and every week on Fridays at 12 o'clock, we're coming together. Nobody wants to come to the table without doing something that they said they were going to do last week. And that type of remote environment, the teams that we're working with, they're seeing an increase in sales performance, not because somebody is, telling them you need to do this every single hour of the day. It's because they have the accountability. They have the peer pressure from other reps, and these reps are from different companies. So they want to kind of posture a little bit as well. But it's also the simple fact that they're getting help and insights from other people in different industry and communicating often. And I just can't stress that enough. I've seen teams where they say, well, yeah, our sales team's remote and we give them latitude and they can do whatever. Well, those people end up doing laundry throughout the day. And I'm not going to lie, I've done that too, where I don't want to make a cold call, end up folding laundry. And I'm like, why am I folding my underwears right now? I should be making a call. But the point there with that is that the constant communication, the accountability in place, and being able to engage with other people makes such a big difference. And there's some tech tools out there that can make that happen. But I would say any team that have remote sellers, you got to have that daily huddle, 10, 15 minutes, a little powwow, give that communication, keep a Slack channel going or some kind of communication method, and then have accountability in place. It makes a world of difference. And people love to see, that leaderboard keeps going. So people figure out ways to sell to be able to increase and to hit their numbers to that point.
That's perfect. And before I go to Doug on the same topic, let's launch the last of our polls today. And it's about the challenges to adapt to remote teams and processes. So we're launching that now. We'd love to hear from you. What do you think works best for you, right? If it's maintaining effective communication, like we just heard, collaboration with team members virtually, mastering virtual presentations, which we all take for granted, but it has a different dynamic. and just if you feel like remote work has been seamless for you. So with that, that polling going, Doug, any thoughts on this? I know you and I have worked together, and you've always been remote, right?
Yes. And you know what? I'm going to take a leap here, Luis, and answer the question differently, because I hear everything that Donald's saying about managing a remote team. I mean, I have 45 of mine. They're all over the country. It's, a constant challenge. And everything you discussed, Donald, you're right. We're doing that, having, really clear cut meetings and agendas of what they need to be prepared for to discuss when we get to that meeting. But I'll answer the question. The challenge we're having is at the client level because they're scattered. I mean, I was at General Mills 2 months ago, massive campus up there in Minneapolis. I was talking to their VPs, like, we're at 25% occupancy. They're not coming back. And imagine trying to sell to a major account. Like, we used to go to New York, you can hit L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, a bunch of accounts, and they're all there in office. It's not happening. So we're having the challenge of just having to go see clients and find out where they're located. That is not an easy ask. So in turn, what you have to do, the luxury of going, every time a deal is stuck, you just get on a plane, go see a client. Let's just figure out what the impasse is. You don't have that luxury. So now everything else becomes far more intense, where we do lots of dry runs with the client so we can just read their body language better on camera, understand how they interpret data, just get to know them through more and more touch points virtually. So when we do have the larger meeting where all the different players come together into a room like this, we have a better sense in how to sell the virtual room. That goes away when you don't have the luxury of sitting at a table and watching body language and how people respond to information. It's tougher. So the way we work around it is just get more and more frequent touch points so we can do the best we can to learn these individuals and how they interpret information or what matters to them personally and tie it together. It's harder. It takes more time and effort, but if they're all scattered just like we are, it's sadly what's required to get these things done.
Can I just say one other thing on what Doug is saying there? I just got to amen it, man. It's underline the dry run. Because sometimes we put our champions in situations that's difficult for them to be able to really thrive and to be successful in. And oftentimes, just want to go back to this. If you're selling a product, like, your customers may not necessarily buy your product on a day-to-day basis or on a month-to-month basis, and people get promotions and they leave positions. The last time they may bought your solution perhaps was maybe 3-4 years ago. Do they really remember the intricate process that went through to acquire your type of service or product? Absolutely not. But if you do the dry run and you don't assume, you work with them, it's amazing what can happen and what kind of issues can come up or surface, which makes it so much easier to be able to have that communication amongst a diverse or a scattered organization or scattered pool of people you're selling to. Love it, man.
Oh, perfect.
Are we going for 2 hours? Are we going for 2 hours today, Luis?
We can go for as long as you possibly want. I'm sure people will hang out with us because this is it's really entertaining. I think it's a great conversation. So the result for the survey we had about the biggest challenges in adapting to remote teams is almost a tie for collaborating with team members virtually. 35% and 34% chose maintaining effective communication. Very, very clear issues that we have with remote processes, followed by mastering virtual presentations. And about 23 people, 11%, said remote work has been seamless for us. So please have any questions ready for us. We will save some time, around 15 minutes, we hope, so you can go and fold your underwear if you need to. But we'll go on and kind of just do a close on the topics we discussed. 4 topics, right? Just less money, tighter budgets, a lot of tools to make sense of. Everybody's remote these days, right? And obviously, we all feel that everybody has more data than they ever did before. So if we group those together, I'd love to hear final thoughts from Doug and Donald, and you can pick the one that goes first here. What do you guys feel would be the best tactics to apply and help sales professionals with these changes?
Mm. All right.
I'll just jump in and just say, I'll be brief and I'll turn it over to you, Donald. But because you don't have the luxury of being in person as much time as you want with clients or even with your employees, you're going to have to be more direct in your communication to the client and have the courage to ask those tough questions to get clarity. That may be, take place naturally through conversation when you're sitting across from an individual. You just can kind of go in that direction as body language comes into play and all that good stuff. But the reality is, if you're virtual, you need to gain that insight and that intel and that information. So you got to have the courage to ask. And a tactic I use is just that whole teacher-student vibe with clients. Like, just teach me how this works here at your organization. Like, you've been in seat with this company for a number of years. I'm new to this organization. Can you help me navigate this place? Can you help me with, how these stage gates happen? Clients like that because they get to, show off their knowledge and insight on the accounts they work in. But for us, on the outside, working from a virtual space, you got to ask those questions. Otherwise, you're flying blind. You can't forecast things properly, and you're really putting yourself at tremendous risk to win deals.
Love it. And I would say the final little note on the way out is I just want you to go back to basics, go back to fundamentals, whether it's to tight a budget, whether it's the tech stack, whether it's the, so much data or remote working environments. Fundamentals always, always, always trump anything else. And you can't surpass that. The fundamentals, AI or tech is going to, you can only cover up lack of fundamentals so much. And some of those things come back to better communicating with your prospect, the principle, listening to your prospects, being able to ask, being able to connect with them in a more effective way. And that, again, it's not just sending out garbage. It's really going back to problems or things that I am facing right now. And I think if we can just master some of those blocking and tackling, getting our teams to go back and doing those blocking and tackling, it'll be fascinating to see the results that come from it. Yeah, you can utilize AI to help you do update Salesforce and things of that nature, and to help you to prepare for meetings. The AI is not going to help you to have the best conversations. That's where you need to come with just asking effective questions and being a good listener, a great communicator. And that's the thing that I would just tell you. Every single topic we cover just comes back down to those basics. So that's my closing note.
Perfect. Thank you. We do have a few. I want to be done in about 5 minutes or so people can do their other stuff that they had planned for the hour. But I do have like an interesting question here, and I will not say where it comes from because I think we'll all send this person our resumes. And the question is, what best practices can you offer to staying productive with a large funnel that keeps growing? Not a bad problem to have, but can be overwhelming. I mean, we all want to go work there. But I love the question. Any insights, Donald? Go ahead.
I was saying, where should we send the resume to? Just let me know.
Yeah, really.
So you have a large funnel, and it's just a challenge working with a large funnel, essentially. What kind of ideas?
How do you remain productive when you have a funnel that keeps on growing?
Yeah, so this is where I would say you can probably use some one, if it needs, you grow the team, but two, I think it's going to be effective to start eliminating some of those people from the jump. If you have a large funnel, I mean, is everyone in that funnel really fully qualified to meet with you? You can utilize some AI tools or some technology in the front end to book appointments, schedule them out. Maybe have some junior reps start doing some of the pre-sales. And one of the issues that I found oftentimes is that BDRs usually get put in a corner and say that's the only thing you can do. But we need BDRs to become effective account executives. Have the BDR take a little bit more instead of the first mile. Give them an opportunity to take maybe a little bit of the first 2 miles if you have such big funnels, because that show you need more people on your bench to be able to get into the AE's positions. But that's one of the things that I was saying. If your BDRs have so much at the top of the funnel, well, then maybe you need to look at, again, utilizing AI to help eliminating some of that by allowing them to people can self-select. You go back to the very top of this, you talked about how some of the buyers are saying that they know more and they feel that they're more prepared. Can we allow them to go through more of the sales process themselves, if that's the case, and then you pick it up a little bit later on? But that's another topic for another day, but those are some of the thoughts that initially come to mind.
Yeah, I mean, my first instinct when I hear that is like, well, how big of a sunshine pump do we have on these ops? Are they real? Yeah. So it's my first instinct. And then second, what we've done on our team is we formulated a scorecard to kind of cut through it and just say, look, answer these 10 questions honestly. And then based on how that opportunity is scored, if it reaches a certain threshold, let's say it's an 8 out of 10, our win rate against those opportunities could be as high as maybe 60 to 70%. If you score below it, don't touch it. It's not ready. And to your point, Donald, like big funnel, great. But, we start pressure testing these things. Like, what are you going to die on the hill on? Like, which of these opportunities are you really going to commit to for the year to get done and apply that scorecard? It just cuts through, I guess, the emotion of it and then gives you a cleaner field to work from. Because candidly, those large funnel challenges, that's a time killer. You can be chasing things that are just not qualified. That's a problem.
Yeah, someone typed, just treat it like an elephant. It's like eating an elephant, right?
Well, spit it out if it's not worthy to eat is really what I would say to it. But another way of looking at it.
One piece at a time, I think. I just need to bring this other question up, which I think is very relevant and I think will resonate with the folks attending today. What new skills do you feel like sales professionals need to cultivate for success in this day and age?
I'm sorry,
what question?
What skills? Say
what new skills?
Oh, new skills. Sorry.
I don't know if this is a skill per se, but the idea is to become more curious. With the shifting atmosphere we're in, if you stay stagnant, you're lost. When it comes to the buyers, go back to Doug, you hit on this point at the very jump of it. We just need to be more consultants. And the only way you need to be more curious. And the way that you can improve your curiosity is just learn. So let's say, for instance, if I'm selling into the manufacturing industry, it's preposterous for me to say that I know everything that goes on in the manufacturing industry. I need to make sure I'm curious. I'm like, what's changing right now? How does AI impact the manufacturing industry? I need to read some reports. I need to see some of the latest data because that's going to help me. That curiosity is going to help me to have more of the business acumen conversation. People are not buying your People are not buying your product or your service. They're buying a solution to their problems. They're soliciting you because they need help, or giving you the opportunity to have a conversation with them because they feel that you can solve something that they have, or you have intel on something that they don't even know about yet. And the only way you're going to do that is if you have a level of curiosity that empowers you to be able to do more research, to listen to news articles, to read stuff outside before you go into the game. I want to know so much about my products, my clients' industries, or the industry they're trying to sell in, that I become such an invaluable asset to them that they take my calls, or that they connect with me on LinkedIn, or that they recommend me to other people. And I feel in this day and age, we don't want order takers. We don't want those people. We want people who can help us really solve problems. And curiosity is just that, becoming more curious, or maybe your research skills. Yeah, utilize AI with that. But that's going to help you tremendously in this day and age, I personally feel.
And we've also agreed that AI is our next webinar, correct?
I think so. All in favor.
All right, Doug, you were going to say something?
No, sorry. Man, it's kind of built off what Donald's saying. Is it's not a new skill, but it's one that people, I think, tend to abandon. Is just stay quiet and listen. It kills me in meetings. We used to have those business cards, maybe you remember, Luis, in really small fine print. I used to hand them out and it said, stop talking. I used to give them to people because they would just jump in. Like the client's ready to go into like a really pertinent point about personal value and how this initiative is going to be a game changer for them on their career track, what it means to the organization. And people jump in and try to solve the problem. Like, just let it go. Just strip line them. Just keep them talking. And, we talk about building rapport virtually. That's how we do it. Just let them go. If we go into a meeting, we have, 20 slides to show and we only get through 2 of them, but the client is sharing really, important key aspects to why it matters to them and why this is a mission critical opportunity for the company, that's worth more than anything we can present, because we can always follow up. And if anything, close the meeting by saying, I think I heard you. Is this what you said? Yes. Okay, let's get it on the calendar. I will fix that with the next steps. But people just are in such a hurry to share their knowledge or share their expertise. That's a miss. Keep the client talking and just let them walk you through what matters. And then you can just respond to it.
Oh, I agree. As a friend of mine would say, and he's like, 100% is not enough. You're absolutely right. So it's 45 past the hour. We've covered the 4 points. I think it's been a great conversation. On behalf of Revegy and my entire team, I'd really like to extend our sincere gratitude to you, Doug, to you, Donald, for your time here. This has really been very insightful. I hope all that attended really use this time to learn a couple of things, gain some valuable insights to help navigate the changing sales landscape. If you do have any further questions or would like to connect with our speakers, please refer to the contact information shared previously with you. It's on the tech, so you have it there. Please connect with us. Thank you all for attending and staying with us. It's 46 minutes past the hour, and we didn't have any drops, which means that this conversation has been very relevant. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. We really appreciate your time today. Bye, guys.
Thank you.